you don't know, my name is Ray T. Burge, and I have the privilege of being the chairman of the Quincy Friends of Scouting, as well as one of the co-chairs of this event, the Quincy Mayor's Good Scout Award Breakfast. We are so privileged and honored to have the support of Mayor Koch, especially for 4 more years. Hip hip hooray. But especially this morning, we're here to celebrate the Scouts, and they're very excited to be here for you. So without further ado, I'd like to hand the mic off to Senior Patrol Leader Robert Bryce, who, oh no, I'm sorry, we got to do Reverend Cliff first. Reverend Cliff Brown, pastor of the Christ Church Quincy, is going to lead us in an invocation appropriately to get our minds and hearts and souls in gratitude to our Maker. Reverend Cliff.
I invite us to unite our hearts and minds in prayer. Gracious God, Creator and Maker of all, we come before you in thanksgiving and celebration as a gathering of scouts, a gathering of family and friends, a gathering of community neighbors and members who provide leadership and guidance to the Scouts and to the greater Quincy community. We come this morning to offer thanksgiving and congratulations for the skills, abilities, and knowledge of the 2023 recipients of the Good Scout Award, Daniel Quirk and Al Gracioso. We are grateful for their influence as both leaders and as followers, and have so unselfishly shared their God-given knowledge and skills. May they accept a sense of accomplishment for their faithful and dedicated service as leaders. And with fond memories, we honor and recall Kelly Coble, curator, Adams National Historical Park, recipient posthumous of the Granite Pillar Award, and we now, O God, we know that she rests in your closer presence. And, O God, we give thanks for all those who guide and lead these scouts and those attributes of living that you have made known to us in many ways. Through the care and direction of the scout leaders, along with family, friends, and many community members who guide the scouts often quietly and behind the scenes, they know that the potential for each scout is waiting to be discovered, explored, and built upon. And as each scout promises in their scouting oath, grant, O God, for all who govern and hold authority in this community, for those who serve as first responders or teachers in many different ways, for each of us as neighbors, workers, and leaders in this historic community of Quincy, may we have the wisdom to uphold and serve the common good for the well-being of our neighbors. We offer this prayer to you, O our God and provider of all that we need. May God bless us and protect us. May God show us favor and be gracious to us. May God show us kindness and grant us peace. Amen.
To Quincy Point, from West Quincy, all over the city, these are our future. This is what we're investing in. These are our servant leaders of tomorrow. Take a good hard look, because they may be in public office someday or serving our country, and we just can't say enough about how proud we are of them and how amazing they are. Could I have a round of applause for the Scouts?
Ray, and I think Ray is the scout leader of the country. What do you think? Great service. T-Birds, nobody does it better. Thank you, Ray. Thank you to the committee, Chuck Phelan and John Gohane, and all the committee that puts us together each and every year that works so hard. Thank you to my colleagues who are here in government. I know we all look to scouting with hope for the future. Thank you to the business community for supporting, once again, one of the great organizations we have in our city here in scouting. I'm grateful you always step up to do that. I know that the 3 people we're remembering this morning, or honoring this morning, outstanding individuals. I have fond memories of Kelly Cobble. I had the good fortune of working with her on the ASFest and so many other things. Obviously, her work at the Park Service, her love for Quincy was just unmatched. Remarkable woman, wonderful mother. Commissioner Al Grazioso, a dear friend. I came up Common Street from Adams Street. Al, when are we paving that part of Common Street? Holy cow. Al's an outstanding public servant and certainly was a great scout. And my friend Dan Quirk, one of the great corporate leaders in the city and the region, for all his generosity over the years. It's a privilege to be with you this morning. So, Scouts, we thank you. We have great hope in you at a time, and this country is very challenged. I think Scouting groups gives us great hope for the basics that sometimes we seem to lack today. And that's God, country, family. So great work, Scouts. Enjoy the morning.
Thank you. Some of you might not realize it, but I was at the first event. And I was young scout when I was there, just so you all know. Which started in 1978. It was then started by a former mayor, state senator, president of the Senate Council for the State Senate, James McIntyre, started the first event. And later it had his name on it, the James McIntyre Good Scout Award. And at that time, we put the money into rebuilding the scout camp that was used by the kids from Quincy, which was Camp Massasoit down in Plymouth. And that went on to about the mid-90s, and then it died. And then once again, it was resurrected at that time to become the Mayor's Good Scout Breakfast by Paul Harrells, who was actually the district chairman of the scouting in the Quincy area. And he started it, and at that time, I was asked to be on the committee because I was on the original committee as a scout. And then both me and Joe Shea were the first recipients. An Eagle Scout out of Troop 32 Quincy. Joe's currently the county commissioner, long-term clerk. And that's when the event started. We were on the deck of the Salem. And since then, it's been up at Quarry Hills. We were here for a while. Now we're back to Quarry Hills, kind of where the thing started. So it's great. Back to the Terrell Room here, where it was for several years. So it's great to be back here. But the Good Scout program, there's several people who have gone on, and they've all been community leaders. They've all been people who work in scouting, who exemplify the Scout Oath and Scout Law. And it's something that is very much needed in the country today. So the Good Scout Award, I look around, I see older people here who were originally some of the young scouts talking when we were aboard the Salem. I think Raymond, who was, I remember doing it aboard the Salem, and Raymond, who's now with the Friends of Scouting, running the Friends of Scouting, he was originally one of the scouts that got up to speak at the Salem. So it's quite a thing to see it come around in different generations. And we're also very appreciative. Now the money goes directly into scouting in Quincy. And as you can see from some of our young men and women, they're going to be the future of the city, future of the state, future of the country. So it's great that everyone is here and helping that. And so it's been my honor to have been at the first one and now to see the thing continue and keep on flourishing.
I was talking to Ray last night briefly, and I just watched the evening news, and you know how that goes, not a lot of positive stories. So Ray's voice came on with a smile, and I said, you know what, this breakfast every year, it just gives us hope for the future. You leave here feeling good about yourselves, our community, our country, and these scouts. So this is one of my favorite breakfasts of the year, so thank you, Ray.
Thank you.
And Ray wanted to know, you know, why scouting for us, and why do we get involved as a business? And for us, it's about God, country, and self. You know, so whoever you believe in, your God, your higher power, that's where things start. You know, something beyond ourselves, bigger than ourselves. For a country, that's obvious. We live in one of the greatest countries in the world, and we're supposed to celebrate and be proud of it every day, which we are. And finally, it's about the self, nurturing the individual to grow, learn, and always be curious. And these three things exemplify scouting for our family. Now, why do we choose to get involved? Well, we've been in the city since 1932. My grandfather started our business, and my parents helped to grow it through the years. If you do the math, that's 91 years. Dad, you look great for 91 years. And our belief has always been to contribute to the community. And one of the best ways that we can do that is by investing in our youth. And that's why we feel the scouting program just exemplifies that spirit of helping the youth to grow, to learn, and to always be curious. So thank you once again, Ray, and look forward to a great breakfast.
As a scout, I have had many experiences that have changed not only how I think, but changed my outlook on life as well. My favorite thing to do as a scout is to go camping with my troop. I've gone many times with my troop, like going to Camp Carpenter or Mass Jam, but there is one campout that I would like to focus on that has taught me a very important thing. My first 2-night campout taught me to look on the bright side, even though there may not be one. It was November of 2022, and we were camping in Mount Norris in northern Vermont. We got to our campsite around 4 in the afternoon, and I set up my tent just before the rain came in. Unfortunately, I set up my $20 Walmart tent up wrong, so after dinner that night, mind you, it had been pouring the whole time we were eating under the pavilion, I went into my tent to go to bed and saw a large puddle of rainwater. Fortunately, my sleeping bag and pad had not gotten soaked yet. So I told the senior patrol leader, and he looked at the situation and said, "Ryan, take out your sleeping bag and pad and your clothes and take them into the pavilion where it's dry." So I set all of my stuff upon the concrete floor in the pavilion as my temporary shelter for the night. And the senior patrol leader went back to bed. Then I called my mom and told her what had happened. I was in the pavilion when I called her, and she was worrying the whole call, wondering if I would be okay. Before this campout, I had had trouble sleeping while camping, so she was worrying a lot. And I was worrying too. I was wondering what I would do the next night and how I was going to pack up my gear, and I was worrying so much I worried myself to sleep. When I woke up the next morning, I walked to my tent and it had collapsed from the weight of the rain and was in a heap in a puddle. At the time, I thought this was the end of the world. I thought my mom would be so mad and that I would never see my stuff ever again. However, the rest of my troop was up and I had to explain what had happened. Then I got caught up in the day's activities, but I still had a nagging fear of what was going to happen that night. Luckily, it was Wilderness Survival Month, and we built shelters to sleep in that second day. But I learned something really important: how to be cheerful even though it may seem like the end of the world. I was worrying so much about things that would not matter in a few days or even hours. The second night on the campout, I was relieved that I had gotten this experience and also a little amused that I worried so much. If I had realized that being cheerful would have probably been the best thing to be in this situation, then I wouldn't even have to worry in the first place. This exact skill has come up on other occasions, like Camp Yagug, where I threw up after eating too much mac and cheese, or Camp Moses, when I couldn't call to sleep, and I called my mom at least 12 times. Being cheerful, even though the situation may be tough, is extremely important. I could list off a billion reasons how this has helped me in scouting and in daily life, but I won't because other people have to give their speeches as well. But to wrap this up, that's how scouting has helped me in life and scouts. Thank you for supporting Quincy Friends of Scouting.
I'm Madeline Yang, and I'm a Girl Scout Ambassador and National Girl Delegate. My Girl Scout journey started when I was in kindergarten. My troop was a fun and inclusive environment where I could thrive and explore new things. Being a Girl Scout has given me so many wonderful opportunities to be a leader and help my community in many ways, like helping out at the garden as interfaith social services. For the past few years, Quincy Girl Scouts have been caring for the garden, growing vegetables, and donating the produce to families in need. As a National Girl Delegate for my local council, I traveled to Florida to attend the GSUSA National Convention with my CEO, board chair, and other national delegates. The National Convention happens every 3 years, and I was fortunate to be appointed as a delegate with voting rights. This was my first time attending a convention of this magnitude and being given a chance to discuss, debate, and vote on issues that will lay the foundation for the future Girl Scout movement. We also voted to elect the national leaders for the next triennium. I would like to thank Quincy Friends of Scouting for providing assistance to Cadet Troop 62257 so that they too could attend the National Convention. I think every girl should be a Girl Scout because you get to be part of a strong, powerful group of girls and learn how to build up your voice to work on different issues that affect the world. 4 of the most important things I've learned in Girl Scouts are: 1, you can do amazing things. Don't let other people's perceptions get to you or get you down. 2, be really confident in what you believe in and research things. Get the word out. It doesn't matter how big or small the thing you want to do is. It all makes an impact. 3, we're all doing it differently. Just be yourself. 4, try to make the world accessible for more people. If a solution you're working on works for you, make sure it works for everyone. Being a Girl Scout has made a big impact on my life. The experiences gave me the courage to find my voice and speak up for what I believed in, and it gave me the confidence to try new things. Thank you for your support of the Quincy Friends of Scouting.
Well, first of all, I'd like to say that if my telephone rings, it's okay if I'm speaking. Good morning, and thank you for this privilege and opportunity. Today I'm joined with staff from the National Park Service to show our support of the Quincy Scouts in the program. It's so vital to this community. And in addition to that, we're sharing with you all the information we have promoting our Scout program to work with the City of Quincy for the future. Kelly Cobble was so deserving of this award. She was a remarkable community player. She was a vital part of her community, her schools, her family, her book club. Everything she did was to benefit all. On behalf of the National Park Service, I want to thank Mayor Tom Koch. I want to thank the City of Quincy and the Quincy Scouts for honoring Kelly Cobble, the National Park Service curator at the Adams National Historical Park. It was through Kelly that we involved ourselves in the Scout program. She saw the importance of educating our youth, our young people, for our future. She saw it as an opportunity to encourage preservationists, conservationists, people to be environmentally safe and tuned in to doing the right things right. She was an educator herself. She appreciated the arts. She appreciated preservation of our national parks. And I can think of programs, the Quincy Scouts, everything evolved around community. But she also loved her family, her children, and her husband. It was very important to her. Isabella and Stephen were Scouts. She not only made it part of her family tradition, but she saw the benefit for all children. And she was the one that carried this Scout program throughout the National Park Service. She was driven when she saw the potential and when she saw how excited the children were to be a part of something big. Kelly would often come to work and she would brag, and I don't think her husband realizes it, but she always bragged on Steve and how he was a chef extraordinaire, and I can tell you he is. He is. He is a cross-country biker. He is a skier, and he is also appreciative of the arts, and you know what the arts meant to Kelly, and he was also appreciative of parks.
Thank you, Marianne. Very well said. I'll keep it short. As you probably read in your program, if you didn't know her already, Kelly was certainly a pillar of our community. She's pushed community service to another level, and we all benefit from her efforts. She selflessly put her all into everything she did. With the Scouts, my kids remember that she would sign them in every year, and their friends every year, without even knowing it, before it was too late to back out. She chaperoned many camping trips and events and advocated for the environment and the love of the outdoors.
She taught love and respect to all the kids, even as they, especially the boys, were bouncing off the walls and trees. She filled their cars with Girl Scout cookies, ... She left a void in the community with the Scouts and all of her organizations that she presided over, but instilled her love for community service in everyone she came to work with, and her family and her friends. My kids and I are very proud to accept this award in her honor. She may never have agreed to this much recognition, but she has no choice now. Thank you.
Awesome, thank you.
Good morning, everyone. First of all, isn't it great to see all these young adults, men and women, in scouting today? It's just wonderful to see it. Thank you all for the service you're performing this morning. I want to thank the committee for nominating me for this award. I'm truly honored. I also wanted to congratulate Mr. Quirk for his award, for all the good he does for the city of Quincy, very quietly and without fanfare. And congratulations to the family of Kelly Cobble. She certainly left an incredible legacy of service and volunteerism to the city of Quincy. Thank you. I also want to acknowledge my wife Kathy and daughters Nicole and Kristen are here with me this morning. Unfortunately, my son Matt couldn't make it, but thank you. Love you guys. I just want to give a brief overview of my scouting experience. As Jim said, I was a member of the Troop 19, which was out of the old Wollaston Baptist Church up in Wollaston Hill. We had a very active scout troop, tremendous experience. We had a scout leader, and I want to acknowledge him. His name was Bruce Gordon. He was a young man who had just gotten out of the Marines. His dad was a scout leader also. And when you look back on your life and you look at people who had a tremendous positive experience in your life, Bruce is one of those guys. He really taught us how to be strong young men. He's in his 80s today. He lives in Tennessee, and we actually still stay in touch. But like I said, we were a very active troop. We camped every month. We did survival camping trips. We did winter camping trips with snow up to our waist. One of the greatest experiences we did, we actually hiked the Appalachian Trail. 13 young men, 12 and 13 years old, with one leader. And we hiked from Peru, Vermont down to North Adams, Mass, 75 miles, 60-pound packs on our backs. We ate chuck wagon dehydrated food.
MREs.
Yeah. And it wasn't easy. It was really a tough experience, but we learned so much. We learned about teamwork, working together. We learned a lot in that troop. It was interesting times back then. You know, I look back, and I don't know if they could do this today. We had a gun range downstairs, and we all learned how to shoot .22 rifles. We got our shooting merit badges. I don't know if we could do that today. But Bruce was, he taught us a lot. He taught us how to be men. He taught us how to work together. He taught us how to settle disputes. You know, I look back at some of the men some of the boys in that troop, and now they're men, but have gone on to become doctors, lawyers, businessmen, just great individuals, and I attribute that to scouting. And as I was reviewing some of my old scouting materials, I thought about just a few things I just want us all to think about. When you look at the Scout slogan, which says, "Do a good turn daily." Scout's duty. A scout has a duty to God and country, a duty to other people, and a duty to self. And the Scout law is be trustworthy, loyal, helpful, friendly, courteous, kind, obedient, cheerful, thrifty, brave, clean, and reverent. Just think what our world would be like today if everyone strived to emulate and practice these principles. We can only hope that these young men and women who are in this room today in the Scouting program grow up to be our future leaders. We will all benefit. Thank you, and God bless.
To that, and that's certainly a lesson for our young people here today. There's no replacement for hard work. Just a couple of comments about Dan and his relationship with the city. A number of years ago, I called Dan and asked him if he would sponsor the fireworks for our Flag Day parade. And he has done that every year now for, I don't know how many years it is, Dan, probably 20 years, but incredible corporate citizen here in Quincy. When we had the General's Bridge dedication, I called Dan and said, Dan, we need some corporate sponsors to help put it on, as well as to donate to the Semper Fi Fund, which at the time Joe Dunford was chairing. He said, what do you need? I said, well, this is what we're doing. No, Tom, what do you need? And I gave him the number, and he didn't flinch and provided once again. And that's true of so many different community requests of him. And I know the YMCA has been a great beneficiary of his kindness. One of the things that you don't know about, a few years ago at the Central Firehouse, the fire chief gave Dan an honorary fire hat because our fire department's mechanic shop is at the shipyard in one of Dan's buildings, rent-free. There's a lot of things Dan Quirk does that people don't know about, and that's what makes him the man he is. It's my honor to present Mr. Dan Quirk.
It's always something that I find near and dear is the people that do the work. Everyone's important. There are people that do the work with the Scouts. I'd like to give all of you a special salute because you really make a big difference in the life of all the Scouts. So take a bow for the people that do the work. It's an honor for me to receive this award. Thank you very much. And it's also very important that we all understand the important difference that everyone makes in everyone's lives. It really makes a big difference. And the things that get accomplished, that if you could help young people, and if you look at the Scouts, you wear that uniform, be proud of that uniform that you wear. Be proud of what the uniform represents, all right? And if you look at the good things about being a Scout and the structure, the things that you learn, the respect for authority, the idea that you can be self-confident and you can get a reward for personal achievement. Group achievement is very important, but personal recognition for hard work is always very valuable. So, and as you know, and as you don't, whatever age you are, all circumstances and everything that we encompass in our life has an impact on us. So you Scouts that are learning all these good lessons by the people that you mentor right now, as you go through life, you will always look at things in a positive way, understand to be grateful for opportunity, stay humble, and even 10, 20, 30 years from now, you'll always remember your period of Scouting. So you're very fortunate to be in Quincy and have such a great Scout program. So once again, thank you very much, and I would like to just say the American dream lives in Quincy through the Scouting program. Thank you very much.
From the mountains to the prairies to the oceans white with foam, God bless America.